Why do astronauts carry a pistol with them when they go into space? Is it to fight aliens? Or is there a far worse threat in the universe? Back on March 18, 1965, Soviet cosmonaut Leonov aboard the Ascent 2 spacecraft. After completing mankind's first spacewalk, a dangerous scene occurred. A design flaw caused Leonov's suit to rapidly expand. Not only was he unable to fit through the tiny hatch, he was thrown around. As a result of the strain, the suit's oxygen began to deplete rapidly. Sweat also blurred the suit's visibility glass, and Leonov's consciousness became very weak, just when he thought he might end up in the vastness of space. Leonov decided to risk his life by releasing the suit's oxygen, and returned to the spacecraft 8 minutes later without incident. But for a spacecraft that can circle the globe in an hour or so, it was a huge mistake. Because of this 8-minute delay, when the spacecraft returned to Earth, its center of gravity was off course, and the aerodynamic effects of re-entry caused the spacecraft to drift thousands of kilometers from its intended position, and eventually landed in the virgin forests of Siberia. But in those days, there was no global positioning system, so rescuers couldn't get there first. When the cosmonauts opened the hatch, they found themselves in a snow-covered forest. They were in danger of being attacked by wolves and bears, but they were able to escape with a small pistol and their survival skills. And this lesson is a lesson for the rest of the world. That's why all astronauts who go into space from now on will carry a pistol with them. In case of accidents, astronauts can use it to protect themselves. Astronauts are not afraid to even go to the moon, but are afraid to look back at the Earth. Is there really some unknown fear hidden on the moon? Since Armstrong first set foot on the moon in 1969, 12 astronauts have landed on the moon. They've all looked at Earth from the moon's surface, but what we never expected was that when they returned safely to Earth and were interviewed, they all said they were afraid to look back at the Earth. And what was going on? Psychologists have carefully analyzed this situation. They believe that in the extremely dangerous environment of the universe, the moon landing itself is a very dangerous work. Not only is there no oxygen, but there are also cosmic rays. Even in a heavy suit, you can't stay on the surface of the moon for very long. The slightest deviation could make it impossible to return to Earth. And the moon's environment is very different from the Earth's. The moon's lack of atmosphere makes the sky look almost pitch black. While the Earth's day is 24 hours long, the moon takes almost a month to make one revolution. And the moon's gravity is only 1/6 of the Earth's, and its surface is even more uneven. These kinds of unfamiliar environments would make astronauts very cautious and uneasy, and the Earth is about 49 times the size of the moon. When astronauts stand on the surface of the moon, they will see a huge Earth in front of their eyes, and dozens of times brighter than the moon from Earth. The strong visual impact will give astronauts a sense of oppression, and since there's no sound transmission in space, and the fear of the silence of the space will be in the minds of the astronauts. Imagine if you were placed in an isolated place, surrounded by the terrifying darkness of deep space, and in front of you, there's just a big, bright blue planet. Maybe deep down you'd feel a sense of loneliness and fear.